The Cubs had a 4-game series against the Cincinnati Reds. We're going to look over all 4 of those games. We're going to look at what went right and what went wrong. All of that is happening on this episode of Cubs 360. Jack from Cubs 360. Thank you very much for tuning in to episode 49 of the Cubs 360 podcast. If you're interested in this content, feel free to like and subscribe, and also follow us on Twitter at Cubs360X. So this is my series recap to the final set of games between the Cubs and the Reds, this time a 4-game series. And let's get right into it. So before anything, the Cubs are sitting at 88-64. They just clinched the playoffs, and here they are going in with the final 10 games of the regular season. So without any further ado, let's get right into it. So as we head to the top of the first with Hunter Greene pitching for the Cincinnati Reds, Michael Busch struck out looking, Nico Hoerner grounds out to second, as well as Happ. Colin Ray's pitching for the Cubs in the bottom of the first. TJ Friedl will line out to left, Gavin Lux will hit a base hit to right, Austin Hayes will hit a base hit to center, Lux will go to second. Sal Stewart struck out swinging, and Benson will line out to first. In the top of the second, Ballesteros will ground out to second, Suzuki struck out swinging, and Kelly flew out to center. In the bottom of the second, Steer struck out looking, De La Cruz flew out to left, and Tyler Stevenson will fly out to right. In the top of the third, PCA will line out to right, Swanson will pop out to second, and Shaw struck out swinging. In the bottom of the third, Matt McLain struck out swinging, as well as Friedl, and Gavin Lux struck out looking. In the top of the fourth, Busch will fly out to left, Hoerner will ground out to short, and Happ will line out to short. In the bottom of the fourth, Hayes will hit a double to right, Stewart will strike out swinging, Benson will hit a double to center to score Hayes to make it 1-0 Reds, and then Steer will ground out to short, and De La Cruz will line out to right. In the top of the fifth, Ballesteros is safe at first on a fielding error by Elly De La Cruz. Suzuki will pop out to second, Kelly will strike out looking, and PCA will ground it into a fielder's choice at first, and Ballesteros is out at second. In the bottom of the fifth, Stevenson will strike out swinging, McLain will fly out to center, and TJ Friedl will pop out to short. In the top of the sixth, Swanson will ground out to third, Shaw will strike out swinging, Busch will get walked, and Nico Hoerner will ground it into a fielder's choice at second, Busch will be out at second. In the bottom of the sixth, Gavin Lux will strike out looking, Austin Hayes will line out to left, and Sal Stewart will strike out swinging. In the top of the seventh now, Hunter Greene still pitching for the Reds, Happ struck out looking, Ballesteros struck out looking, Suzuki will hit a double to left, and Kelly will ground out to second. In the bottom of the seventh, Benson will ground out to first, Steer will strike out swinging, and De La Cruz struck out swinging as well. In the top of the eighth, PCA will ground out to first, Dansby Swanson will ground out to short, and Shaw will ground out to third. In the bottom of the eighth, with Soroka pitching for the Cubs, Stevenson will ground out to third, McLain will get walked, Friedl struck out swinging, and Lux will ground out to the catcher. In the top of the ninth, with Greene still pitching for the Reds, Brian Hayes will now go to third base. Michael Busch will fly out to right, Hoerner struck out looking, as well as Happ, and that is the end of the game. So that's it right there. The Cincinnati Reds win the first game by a final score of 1-0. And the win obviously goes to Hunter Greene with a complete game. Only gave up a hit and 9 strikeouts. Only 1 hit is what Hunter Greene gave up. That is astounding, amazing by him. And the loss goes to Colin Ray, who I would say had a good game as well. 10-7. He had 1 earned run, 4 hits, and 11 strikeouts. So I forgot, this was the game where he had 11 strikeouts and he had 7 innings pitched. So I don't know what you want from Colin Ray there. I just think the offense was completely flat. And as you know, they were like that throughout the month of August. At this point of the season, it seemed like they started to begin to get out of that, although they did show flashes of August. Their offense started to get back on track a little bit at this point of the year. So, again, first game goes to the Reds, but the Cubs have a chance to bounce back in game number 2. So in game number 2, Lodolo is pitching for the Reds. Nico Hoerner struck out swinging. Happ will ground out to first. Suzuki will get walked, and Kelly will hit a base at the center, and Suzuki is thrown out at home. In the bottom of the first, with Shota Imanaga pitching for the Cubs, TJ Friedl struck out swinging. Marte will fly out to center. Andujar hits a home run to left to make it 1-0 Reds, and Austin Hayes will fly out to right. In the top of the second, Turner struck out swinging, and Dansby Swanson hits a home run to center field to tie the game up at 1. Santana struck out swinging. PCA will hit a base hit to right. He got picked off and got caught stealing second, but then Lodolo was pitching to Shaw. In the bottom of the second now, Steer will foul out to first. De La Cruz will get walked. Hayes will pop out to short, and he got picked off and caught stealing second as well. And Shota Imanaga was pitching to Jose Trevino. In the top of the third, Shaw will foul out to short. Nico Hoerner hit a base hit to right. Ian Happ hits a double to score Nico Hoerner to make it 2-1 Cubs. Suzuki will get walked. Kelly struck out swinging, as well as Turner. In the bottom of the third, Trevino will line out to right. McLean hits a home run to tie the game up at 2 again. Friedl will fly out to center, and Marte will ground out to first. In the top of the fourth, Swanson struck out swinging. Santana will ground out to short. PCA will reach on an infield single to third. Matt Shaw hits a home run to left to make it 4-2 Cubs, and then Nico Hoerner will fly out to center. In the bottom of the fourth, Andujar hits a line out to right. Austin Hayes struck out swinging. Steer hits a home run to left center field, and it's a one-run game. The Cubs lead 4-3, and then De La Cruz struck out swinging. In the top of the fifth, Ian Happ struck out looking. Suzuki will fly out to right. Kelly will reach on an infield single to second. Turner will hit a base hit to left, which will send Kelly to second. And then Phillips will go in for the Reds, and Swanson will line out to left. In the bottom of the fifth, Hayes will get walked, and he goes to second on a pickoff error by Imanaga. Trevino will ground out to second. Hayes will go to third. McLean struck out swinging. Friedl will hit a base hit to left to score Hayes. The game is back tied at 4 runs apiece, but then Marte will line out to short. In the top of the sixth, Bush will pinch it for Santana, and he struck out swinging. PCA struck out looking, and Shaw will fly out to center. In the bottom of the sixth, Porter Hodge goes in for the Cubs. Bush will now go to first base. Andujar will strike out looking. Hayes will reach on an infield single to second. Steer hits a home run to left center field, and it is 6-4 in favor of the Reds. And then De La Cruz will go back-to-back, and it is 7-4 Reds. Hayes will get walked. Trevino will fly out to right, and McLean struck out swinging. In the top of the seventh, with Martinez pitching for the Reds, Nico Hoerner will fly out to left. Happ will hit a base hit to right. Suzuki will ground it into a fielder's choice at second. Happ is out at second, and Kelly will foul out to third. Rogers will pitch for the Cubs in the bottom of the seventh, so he's going against his former team, the Reds, the first time he's in Cincinnati since the trade. So obviously, he was traded for Brian Hayes to Pittsburgh, but then he got flipped to the Cubs. He goes back to Cincinnati for the first time since those deals happened. But regardless, Friedl grounds out to Rogers. Marte will foul out to third, and Andujar will ground out to third. In the top of the eighth, with Santillan pitching for the Reds, Ballesteros will pinch it for Turner. He gets walked. Swanson struck out swinging, and Mike Bush will ground it into a double play. In the bottom of the eighth, Ballesteros is the DH. Hayes, meaning Austin Hayes, will ground out to short. Spencer Steer will get walked. De La Cruz will get walked. Steer will go to second, and Ke'Bryan Hayes will ground it into a double play to end the frame. In the top of the ninth, with Pagan pitching for the Reds, PCA will ground out to first. Shaw will hit a double to right. Nico Hoerner will line out to third, and Happ will fly out to left, and that is the game. The Cubs lose once again, and the Reds are already at a split series as they win by a final score of 7-4. So the win goes to Phillips, who's 4-0, 1 1/3 of an inning pitched. Gave up no hits, no earned runs. He had 2 strikeouts. Porter Hodge with the loss gave up 3 earned runs and 3 hits and only 2 strikeouts in his lone inning pitch. And Pagan, with his 28th save of the year, only gave up a hit in his lone inning. So things are not looking good for the Cubs early on in the series. The best they can do is split the series now as they drop the first 2 to the Reds and they avoid losing the series in game number 3. So in game number 3, Littell is pitching for the Reds. Bush struck out swinging. Nico Hoerner will hit a base hit to center. Happ struck out looking. Ballesteros will get walked, and Hoerner will go to second, and Swanson will ground it into a fielder's choice to short, and Ballesteros is out at second. Javier Assad pitching for the Cubs in the bottom of the first. Friedl will pop out to short. Spencer Steer will ground out to first, and Gavin Lux will line out to left. In the top of the second, PCA will strike out swinging. Matt Shaw will fly out to left, and Castro will ground out to short. In the bottom of the second, Hayes, meaning Austin Hayes, struck out looking. Benson will fly out to left. De La Cruz got walked, and he stole second. And he goes to third on a wild pitch by Assad. Stevenson got walked, and Ke'Bryan Hayes will ground out to second. In the top of the third, McGuire will line out to right, and Bush hits a home run to right center field to make it 1-0 Cubs. Nico Hoerner will ground out to third, and Happ will pop out to third. In the bottom of the third, McLean will hit a base hit to right, and he stole second. TJ Friedl hits a base hit to right, which will send McLean to third. Spencer Steer will ground it into a fielder's choice to third. McLean will score. Friedl will go to second to tie the game up at 1. Lux struck out looking. Hayes will fly out to left. Benson will hit a base hit to center to score Friedl. Steer will go to third to make it 2-1 Reds, and then De La Cruz will line out to left. In the top of the fourth, Ballesteros struck out swinging. Swanson will line out to left, and PCA will fly out to left. In the bottom of the fourth, Stevenson will line out to third. Ke'Bryan Hayes will ground out to short, and McLean will fly out to center. In the top of the fifth, Matt Shaw will pop out to second. Castro will line out to center, and McGuire hits a home run to right field to tie the game up at 2, but then Mike Bush will ground out to first. Pomeranz will go in for the Cubs in the bottom of the fifth. Friedl will strike out swinging. Spencer Steer hits a home run again to left center field to make it 3-2. Andujar will pinch it for Lux, and he hits a base hit to center. Austin Hayes struck out swinging. Marte will pinch it for Benson, and he lines out to left. In the top of the sixth, Ashcraft pitching for the Reds, as Steer is in left field, Andujar as the new DH. Sal Stewart is at first, and Marte is in right. Nico Hoerner will ground out to third, Happ will ground out to first, and Ballesteros will ground out to first. Savali goes in for the Cubs in the bottom of the sixth. De La Cruz will hit a double to left. Stevenson struck out swinging. Ke'Bryan Hayes struck out looking, and McLean will fly out to left. In the top of the seventh, with Burns, Chase Burns now for the Reds, Swanson struck out swinging. PCA will ground out to first, and Shaw will fly out to center. In the bottom of the seventh, TJ Friedl hits a home run to right to make it 4-2 Cincinnati. Steer will ground out to second. Andujar will line out to left, and Sal Stewart struck out swinging. In the top of the eighth, Castro hits a ground rule double. McGuire will hit a double, which will score Castro to make it 4-3. Alcantara will pinch it for McGuire. Bush will line out to left. Nico Hoerner will reach on an infield single to short. Alcantara will go to third. Then Santillan will go in for the Reds as Happ struck out swinging, and Ballesteros will ground out to short. Kittredge will go in for the Cubs in the bottom of the eighth with Carson Kelly catching. Marte will hit a base hit to left. He stole second. De La Cruz struck out swinging, and Stevenson hits a home run to right to pretty much put the nail in the coffin for the Cubs. It is now 6-3. Ke'Bryan Hayes will fly out to right, and McLean struck out swinging. Pagan will go in for the Reds in the top of the ninth. Swanson will ground out to third. PCA will fly out to second. Shaw will hit a double to left. Suzuki will pinch it for Castro, and he struck out swinging. That is the end of the game. Cincinnati winning the first three of the four. In this one, they went 6-3. Littell with his 10th win of the year. He's 10-8 on the year. 5 innings pitched, gave up 2 earned runs and 3 hits with 4 strikeouts. Pomeranz with the loss, 2-2 on the year. In his lone inning pitch, he gave up an earned run, 2 hits, and 2 strikeouts. Pagan with his 29th save of the season. So again, the Cincinnati Reds have just caught fire against the Cubs. Cubs have had no answers for Cincinnati this series. And now the Cubs, for the second time all season and the first time in a 4-game series, are trying to avoid a sweep in game number 4. So in game number 4, Abbott will be pitching for the Reds. Nico Hoerner will line out to right. Happ struck out swinging, and Suzuki will fly out to right. Jameson Taillon pitching for the Cubs in the bottom of the first. Friedl will ground out to Taillon. Lux will ground out to second. Marte will hit a base hit to left, and he stole second. But then Steer will fly out to right. In the top of the second, Kelly gets walked. Santana will line out to left. Swanson will ground a fielder's choice to third. Kelly is out at second. Swanson will steal second, but Turner will ground out to third. In the bottom of the second, Benson will ground out to first. De La Cruz struck out swinging, and Ke'Bryan Hayes will ground out to short. In the top of the third, Bush will hit a base hit to right. Alcantara will hit a base hit to left. Bush will go to second. Nico Hoerner will line out to center. Happ will pop out to third, and Suzuki will fly out to center. In the bottom of the third, Trevino will line out to left. McLean will hit a double to left. Friedl will fly out to center. Gavin Lux hits a double to right to score McLean to make it 1-0 Reds, and Marte will foul out to the catcher. In the top of the fourth, Kelly struck out looking. Santana will hit a base hit to left. Swanson will hit a base hit to center. Santana will go to second. Turner will fly out to center. Santana will go to third, and Bush will foul out to third. In the bottom of the fourth, Steer will ground out to short. Benson will ground out to first, and De La Cruz grounds out to second. In the top of the fifth, Alcantara will line out to short. Nico Hoerner will pop out to second. Happ will hit a base hit to center. Martinez goes in for the Reds now, and Suzuki struck out swinging. In the bottom of the fifth, Ke'Bryan Hayes struck out looking. Trevino will fly out to left, and McLean will fly out to center. In the top of the sixth, Kelly will ground out to first. Ballesteros will pinch it for Santana, and he lines out to center, and Swanson will fly out to second. In the bottom of the sixth, Ballesteros is now the DH, with Taillon still on the bump for the Cubs. Friedl will strike out swinging. Lux will hit a base hit to right. Marte will ground it into a fielder's choice to third, and Lux is out at second, but then Spencer Steer struck out swinging. In the top of the seventh, Turner will ground out to third. Bush will fly out to center. PCA will pinch it for Alcantara, and he flies out to center. In the bottom of the seventh now, PCA is in center field. Benson will pop out to short. De La Cruz will hit a base hit to center. Ke'Bryan Hayes will fly out to center, and Trevino will ground out to Taillon. In the top of the eighth, with Ashcraft pitching for the Reds now, Hoerner will pop out to short. Happ will strike out swinging. Suzuki will hit a base hit to right, and Kelly will foul out to the catcher. Brad Keller pitching for the Cubs now in the bottom of the eighth. McLean struck out looking. Friedl will fly out to left, and Gavin Lux will ground out to second. Santillan pitching for the Reds in the top of the ninth as Ballesteros gets walked. Swanson will fly out to right. Castro will pinch it for Turner. Castro struck out swinging. Bush will get walked. Ballesteros will go to second, but PCA struck out looking to end the game. So the Cubs in a 4-game series, and for the second time all season long, they get swept in a series. Cincinnati takes this game 1-0, just like the series opener. So the win will go to Nick Martinez, 11-13 on the year, 2-1 third inning pitched. Gave up no hits, no earned runs, only had a strikeout. Taillon had a loss. He was 10-7 on the year, 7 innings pitched, gave up 1 earned run and 5 hits with 4 strikeouts. And Santillan with his 7th save of the year in his lone inning pitch, he gave up no hits, no earned runs, and had 2 strikeouts. So the Cubs after this series are now 88-68, and the Reds are 80-76 as they were making their playoff push. So those were 4 big wins for the Cincinnati Reds to keep their playoff hopes alive, and the Cubs, even though they clinched, not what you want to see from them. So, again, that is the end of the series there. The Cubs get swept, and just not a pretty series after clinching the playoffs. But there are 6 games left for the Cubs, and I was pretty vocal about in the Braves, Rays, and Pirates series recaps that they will all be coming out last night, which they did. This one, along with the Mets and the Cardinals series recaps, will be coming out tonight. And then my playoff recap videos will be coming out on Friday night, and spring training and all-season videos will begin on Saturday night. So that is the lineup for the week. We have a lot of great content coming out over the next month and a half until opening day on Cubs 360. We hope you're there. So, again, give me your thoughts on this series in the comment section down below. If you're interested in the content, feel free to like, subscribe, and also follow us on Twitter at Cubs360X. So this is Jack from Cubs 360, and as always, go Cubs go.